2017 is here. The Avon tyres, Supertwins and Stocktwins and RRV 450 Aprilia class line up on the grid here at Brands Hatch for the first round of 2017. There is Mad 60, Madero. Greg Madero, last year's Stocktwins champion, who this year moves on to a Super Twin, looking to now go one better and win that championship. There is Johnny Towers, thumbs up from him. It wasn't thumbs up from him at the final race of last season, of course. He lost out agonisingly in that last race in the championship to the eventual champion John Simpson, who is not here on this grid. Away we go then. You can see there is a damp circuit underneath us. Johnny Towers gets away quickest. Greg Madero's up there. You can see number 42 is a former Thundersport 500 rider, and on his day on a Super Twin, very capable of winning races. That's Jonathan Perry. There is Madero, number 60. You can also see there familiar number 26, Dan Taylor, who of course is a former Stocktwins winner. Bit of a wobble from the rear end there from number 12, Alec Collinson. Good to see Alec out there, of course. This very much his home circuit. Travels around when he can, enters the odd race when he can. And always manages to find himself up inside the top 10 somehow, even when he does arrive. Now, live circuit commentators getting a bit excited there, John Ward and Robin Murphy, but I couldn't quite see anything myself that might have happened, perhaps, out of Graham Hill or into Surtees. We're on board now with Rd1, one of our British Army riders. This class just continues to grow from strength to strength. Of course, it does include now the RRV 450 Aprilias as well, so there's effectively 3 races going on in one, but the overall plan is to win the Super Twins Championship, and at the moment it is Greg Madero that is odds on for that. There's 43, Alex Platt from Lincoln on the B&B Motorcycle Suzuki. Good to see Alex out once more. He's been with Thundersport now since, I would imagine actually, probably since 09-10 maybe. So great to see him, and he's improving as well. That's the most important thing. Steve Day here, Sid alongside me. There he is, number 43, Alex Platt. Lovely, lovely lad off the circuit as well.
Proper nice geezer. When you meet him, you wouldn't think for a moment, as with a lot of other guys, that he is a dedicated motorcycle racer. But as you say, he's done his job. He's done his apprenticeship. He's slowly worked at it. And I'll tell you what, he's looking good here. He looked good yesterday, had a really good day. I'm really impressed with Alex, I have to say.
In second place there, Sid, Johnny Towers. Of course, he's known around pretty much every motorcycle racing paddock in the world. Mr. RST himself on that Team Edge machine. How gutted he was at the end of 2016.
Well, of course he was gutted. I mean, he wanted to win. It was one of the dearest things to his heart. But it was a very, very close run thing. In the end, he was magnanimous in defeat. And let's not forget, he's not the youngest man in the paddock. He does really well, you know, unbelievably well. Keeps himself fit all the time. Brilliant, and loves to race these Super Twins, probably above all else.
Well, here he is, embroiled in a decent battle with Greg Madero, no less, and he just goes up underneath him. Greg Madero last year was the Stocktwins champion, and deservedly so. This year he's decided that he's going on to Super Twins. He wants to have a crack at this as well. An improved rider, I think is fair to say.
Yeah, he's done really well. As also, Greg Madero and his stepdad Ray work endlessly on the bikes. It's, you know, can't have a bigger shout out than to Ray. He's always working so hard and does everything for Greg. I like to call him his real name, of course, Gregoria Ballesteros Madero.
Yeah, well, that's the name that, of course, he's called up to the podium as when Sid's up there. There he is, Greg Madero. We're talking about him, number 60. And for the last couple of seasons, this is all funded by the family. There are no sponsors on the side of that bike, so they go racing on pretty much a shoestring budget, really. But they absolutely love it, and he is quick, and there are a lot of quick riders out in this field. Johnny Towers leads from Greg Madero in the Stocktwins, the fastest of them so far, as we see Greg Madero aggressively finding his way up the inside around Druids. Nicely done there from Greg. Alex Platt is the leader of the Stocktwins. We ride on board again with Ryan Redmond, who at this moment in time is a little bit further back in the field, although he's just made up a place there, tipping in to Druids. And around we go. Further back in terms of the RRV 450s, Alex Taylor is the best of the bunch so far. He's up ahead of Cade Verwey and Alex Wood. All of them are in the top 15 respectively, but it is Alex Wood at the moment who has the advantage in the Aprilia RRV 450s. Further back here, gaggle of riders. There is Ryan Redmond that we were just riding on board with the red bike at the front of this pack, number 3, just up ahead of number 22, Joseph Thomas, who looks like he's about to get overtaken by Paul Williams.
Joseph had a good day yesterday, actually. Great introduction to this first round. I'd like to just pick up on something you said about like no sponsors on the side of the bike. One of the problems with sponsorship, Steve, is it's a bit of a double-edged sword, you know. You can get sponsors out there, but then they want their pound of flesh, so there's a bit of pressure. Oh, look at that around the outside, brilliant. And so and they sometimes want you to do things that you don't want to do. So when you can make this work for yourself, and when you can have, like, say, Club 60, like I've been trying to explain to people, and a lot of people have taken it up successfully, where you get like 60 people, if you're number 60, like Greg Madero, 60 people giving you 60 quid, and they feel part of the team. So it's like, oh, big sit up there, Steve.
He's Ryan Redmond's gone down, and there's a few down there in a big pile. That's not good news. Ryan Redmond has gone down, and so has Ben Rainbow. Well, there's no pot of gold at the end of that rainbow, I'm afraid. Down in the gravel trap at Clearways, Ryan Redmond goes down. But unfortunately, they're out of the race.
Just from one person sitting up there, and the whole thing went wrong.
Well, it's ever so easy to do in conditions like this, of course, we know that, as we see Alec Collinson going through up ahead of number 70 once again, Paul Williams. So yeah, like you were saying, Greg Madero races with number 60, and you're suggesting that Club 60 could be something he does, where 60 people give him 60 quid.
Yeah, and that works really well, and that's a nice big lump of money, and then those people feel part of the team, they're part of a club, and that's a completely different thing to a sponsor who's looking for it to promote his business or his brand or his products. So, but as I say, one of the things that happens with sponsorship is they want you to do things that maybe you're not ready for. And I do, unfortunately, see some youngsters particularly who end up moving on, shall we say, and step up the ladder a bit more before they're actually ready because of that very thing.
Well, here he is, the man, Greg Madero, at the moment. Maybe he'll give that a go after listening to this. He leads at the moment from Johnny Towers. Further back there, Alex Platt getting it all out of shape, but still throwing it in with confidence into Druids anyway. He's just behind Jonathan Perry. Ben Tolliday's having a decent race. He's up inside the top 6. George Lawson joins him. We saw a moment ago the bright coloured Aprilia 450 of Alex Taylor, who still has the advantage. He's racing under the Scott Racing Motorcycles banner for 2017. He is going great. There's Johnny Towers. He's still not giving this one up. Johnny Towers on that last lap, he just got a bit of a warning from the rear end when he got on the gas maybe just a tad too early. But
tell you what, they're tricky conditions, Steve, aren't they? I mean, it was always your biggest fear, conditions like this.
Yeah, they're awful conditions, really, because I say awful, I mean, it's not absolutely tipping down with rain, but of course they're so awkward to find your limit in conditions like this, because track temperatures are cool. We're still in March. This is not like a tropic setting at the moment. The track is damp, it's dangerous, but at the moment, that man there, Greg Madero, I would say he's not got any sponsors at the moment, but I can see a couple of stickers on the side of his bike there, including a Michelin sticker as well. So he's obviously getting a bit of help here and there, but maybe not so much.
Well, the Michelin contingency is like where he gets on the podium, he gets a free tyre, so, you know, obviously, but you have to sign up to that contingency and be on Michelin's.
Last lap flag is out. It's between Madero and Johnny Towers for the outright race win here at the Thundersport GB Championships for 2017 round 1. Dry patches appearing on circuit. Madeira at the moment you'd think would have to make a mistake here to allow Johnny Towers through, unless Johnny fancies a lunge. He's got closer to him around Druids, and now he's got to just be careful on the gas down into Graham Hill Bend. He doesn't fancy a lunge there. There's a bit of traffic coming up ahead. Very few overtaking opportunities left now for them. They both deal with the traffic well. Will Johnny Towers have a look up the inside into Surtees? Not quite close enough. Now it means that he's just going to have to focus on his line coming around clearways. More traffic, and Madeira went slightly wide there. Then all of a sudden he's got some traffic. Johnny Towers now just has to get on the power as early as possible. He's not close enough, I don't think. Onto the start-finish straight we come. The checkered flag comes out, and Greg Madeira wins it, and he looks absolutely delighted with it as well. He has beaten last year's runner-up. He knows Johnny Towers oh so well. And here we go. It looks like we're going to get another proper battle for a championship this year. That's not to say, of course, that Jonathan Perry and a few others might have something to say about that in later rounds to come. Perry was third, ahead of Alex Platt, Ben Tolliday and George Lawson. So, Super Twins top 3. Greg Madeira, Johnny Towers, Jonathan Perry. In the Stock Twins, it's Alex Platt from Joseph Thomas and Paul Williams. And in the RRV 450s, it's Alex Taylor, the winner from Cade Verwey and Alex Wood. Here we go then, ready for race 2 for the Super Twins, Stock Twins and RRV 450s. There is Johnny Towers looking to try and beat Greg Madeira in race 1. I'll send a quick apology out right now. I think I was getting Alex Taylor and Alex Wood all mixed up in that last race. Alex Taylor was the race winner on the Scott Racing Motorcycles 450. Alex Wood was third overall on the CWP Racing. There are so many Alexes that race in this class that I'm getting confused already, and it's only race 1. Green flag up at the back means that the red flag can go up at the front. And there you see Dave walking away, and that means we're ready to go racing. The lights go out, and away we go. Good start there for Johnny Towers. Jonathan Perry got away from the line well. Greg Madeira not away from the line as well as he would have liked. Dan Taylor also with a decent start now as they make their way down through Paddock Hill Bend. Looking at the weather conditions here, it's pretty similar to what we had earlier on, perhaps just a little better than what we saw earlier as they now round Druids Corner and head downhill into Graham Hill Bend. There's Ryan Redmond. Number 6 is Casey Wyatt from Annerley on the Team Edge RST Aprilia. Nice to see Casey out there again. Jonathan Perry it is that has the lead then. Mentioned in race 1 that if Jonathan Perry is here for the full season in this class, he will definitely have a say about where this championship goes. I don't think he would allow the likes of Greg Madeira and Johnny Towers to have it all their own way in 2017. Across the line we go. Perry it is with the lead from Madeira, who's recovered after a poor start. Dan Taylor's got Alex Platt for company. Then it's Alec Collinson. Further back there you can see Alex Taylor, number 9 from Southwater on the Scott Racing Motorcycles Aprilia. There's Alex Platt just having a look underneath Dan Taylor. Nicely done there. Both of those, of course, know each other well. They've raced in the same class for a couple of years now. Dan Taylor, who moved up from the Stock Twins into the Super Twins as champion, much like Greg Madeira has this year. But Dan just couldn't quite get on terms with both John Simpson and Johnny Towers last year. Can he go one better this year as he finds the dry line? Of course, Dan Taylor now a firm member of the Barnsley clan and the Schofield clan that travel to Thundersport races. Neil is out there racing, of course, as ever in the Stocktwins, number 19. Keep an eye out for him. He wasn't on the podium in race 1 because he got a 10-second penalty for a yellow flag infringement. Naughty, naughty. It's not the way to start the year, but nice to have them out with us as ever. Jonathan Perry, it is that has the lead in the early stages of this one. Former Thundersport 500 race winner, no less. Jonathan Perry knows how to ride. He's been doing a bit of road racing as well, I believe, last year. So whether or not he can attend every round of this championship this year, I can't be 100% sure. Now then, were there a few spots of rain again that I just saw then, or was it just my eyes deceiving me? It is Jonathan Perry that leads from Greg Badiro and Johnny Towers. There is Alex Platt up ahead of Dan Taylor. Worth pointing out, Sid, of course, that after these races, and we've seen the podiums, we will get a glimpse of the championship points for the first time in 2017. But folks that are watching, and there are a few spots of rain dropping down there, should just remember that there have been a couple of races here yesterday as well.
Yes, absolutely. So that makes a big reflection on what you see. I'd love to have both days televised, but at the moment I can't get enough sponsorship in to cover that cost, because of course the TV production is covered by the series sponsorship, so no riders actually have to feel it comes out of their entry fees. And the same goes, well, that's Neil just been knocked wide a little bit there. And and the same with it's the same with the trophies, because obviously the guys who get the trophy podium spots, it doesn't need to be subsidised ideally by the lads further down the field. So it's the way we try and keep it fair, and it's the way we've kept our entry fees for the same price for the 10th year running. So you're probably bored with that, but anyway, I'm very proud of it. So it's this is a great class, again, intermediate class. Lovely to see still some RRVs out there, and I think that when they come to other circuits, I think the RRVs might come into their own. I mean, although they are down on power quite significantly to the other Super Twins, probably by something like 25 to 28 brake horsepower. It's because they're so light, and because they can then carry high corner speeds. You get somewhere like Donington with flowing corners, they could be up the front there.
Yeah, well, we'll see how they get on. Of course, it's worth also pointing out that the riders on the 450s are not perhaps riders that you would expect to have seen last year battling for the championship. The likes of Alex Taylor, Alex Wood, etc. are still learning themselves. They will get quicker as the year goes on. Now, there is definitely some rain falling. Now, as we already knew we had a damp track. The sun's shining, but we've got rain falling as well.
But the race was declared a wet race.
Yeah,
so that means it doesn't have to be stopped for climatic conditions.
Exactly, and Jonathan Perry is out there on wets, because we just saw him going around clearways. He's out leading this one by some distance, and I just wonder, this is that mental rain, of course. Now, there's a dry line.
Do you mean mental to be out there?
Well, if there's a dry line forming, but there will be spots of rain falling on the visors. Now, Jonathan Perry's okay there. You can just see him. That's a back marker. This is the lead that he has over Johnny Towers. But Greg Madero, maybe it's just affecting him a little bit, because his times have just dropped down, and now he's fallen outside the top 3 overall.
But some of these guys at the front of the Super Twin grid, Steve, they've been round the block a couple of times. They've seen what happens in these early rounds. They don't want to take an injury or a bike full of bits, or a box full of bits back containing your bike. So sometimes discretion is the better part of valour. Having said that, if you get in a groove and you can stay on that lovely dry line, you can hustle a bit.
Brands Hatch can be such a tricky circuit to navigate in conditions like this, but Jonathan Perry is showing you how it's done here. Nice colour scheme as ever for Jonathan, matching leathers, nice helmet design there as well. There's Johnny Towers. He's looking like he's going to pick up 40 points from TV Day here today. Further back, massive battles going on. There's Jason Markham, number 96. You've got George Lawson somewhere in there as well. All these guys just dipped inside the top 15 overall. We had 35 riders on the grid at the start of this race, as we now see Alex Platt fighting with Alex Taylor. Now, Alex Taylor seems to be finding a bit more speed in this second race. There's Greg Madero. There goes Alex Taylor on that Aprilia, up the inside of Alex Platt, who knows only too well how an Aprilia 450 works. And out front is number 74, being overtaken by 42. Oh, an arm up in the air there for Jonathan Perry as he just makes his way past Andrew Day from Chippenham. No relation to myself or Sid, I should just point out. But of course, he is out there on a night road racing machine, which is always good to see out there.
Day and night.
Ah, yes. Yeah, I hadn't noticed that before. 44 there was Keith Shepherd. There is number 17, Johnny Towers, then on that Kawasaki, but nobody catching Jonathan Perry. This is an excellent performance from him. There is Towers. Bit of traffic now just to deal with for him. Well, after race one, the full-on scrap between Towers and Madero, you'd have put your house on seeing exactly the same again in race two, but it just goes to show you that two races are never exactly the same. There is number 77, Cade Verwey, on the Team XG Group Aprilia. He, at the moment, is on for another RRV 450 podium. In the Stocktwins, we know that Alex Platt at the moment leads that battle within this race. Further behind, Joe Thomas and Neil Schofield are looking like picking up trophies for their efforts in the Stocktwins. We just saw a leader go through there. That was, of course, Jonathan Perry. Then Johnny Towers. Then this big old scrap then for third. Dan Taylor at the moment at the head of that one. But Alex Taylor is coming through. Oh, a bit of a moment on the exit there for Jonathan Perry. Not a large one, but maybe just a little warning. It's always interesting at this level as well. We know Thundersport GP, in its 10th year of racing, that, it is one down from British Championship level. So it's a good championship to have on your CV if you win it. But not all riders come here and take it completely seriously. Some have pit boards, some don't. Just have to wait and see as we get Jonathan Perry across the line here, whether or not I can see a pit board. The last lap flag was out, the checkered flag's out, so it doesn't matter anyway. He doesn't need a pit board to know that he's just won that one. And so race 2 goes to Jonathan Perry. And if he is out to play all year, Jonathan Perry, Greg Madero and Johnny Towers could just really put out a fantastic battle for us to watch. Great job there from Alex Taylor on the RRV 450, by the way. He did finish third overall in the end, ahead of Dan Taylor. Top three there, Jonathan Perry, Johnny Towers and Dan Taylor in the Supertwins. In the Stocktwins, it's Alex Platt who took the win from Joe Thomas and Neil Schofield. And in the RRVs, it's Alex Taylor from Alex Wood and Cade Verwey. Let's have a look at those points then. Going into the next round at Donington Park, Johnny Towers it is that leads it by 13 points from Jonathan Perry. Greg Madero in third. There's just 18 between those three after round one. Dan Taylor there in fourth, head of Alex Platt. In the Stocktwins, Joseph Thomas and Alex Platt are locking horns on 90 points apiece. Neil Schofield is up in third, ahead of Jason Markham, Paul Williams and Ian McGann. And in the RRV 450s, it's Alex Taylor with 100 out of 100 after round one at Brands Hatch. He leads the way ahead of Cade Verwey, Alex Wood, Casey Wyatt, Rhys Irwin and Luke Verwey. Brands Hatch is done and dusted. We will see you next time out for round 2 in 2017 at Donington.